She acts like she doesn't care, but every move she makes is screaming the opposite. You've seen it before. A woman who gives you the cold shoulder, short answers, and barely looks your way. But then, later, you catch her watching you when she thinks you're not paying attention. This is where most men get confused. Because when a woman secretly likes you, she doesn't always show it in the obvious ways. In fact, many times she'll hide it behind distance, indifference, or even a little attitude. Why? Because deep down, she doesn't want to risk being exposed. And if you can't read between the lines, you'll miss the signs completely. I know what you've felt, the frustration of wondering if she's into you or if you're wasting your time. The mixed signals, the push and pull, the moments where you swear she's interested, followed by hours of silence. It's exhausting, but here's the truth. What looks like rejection is often attraction in disguise. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on female psychology. I'll show you the hidden signs women use when they secretly want you but won't admit it. Once you understand these signals, you'll never be left guessing again. You'll see her coldness for what it really is, a test, a shield, or an invitation hiding in plain sight. And once you know how to spot it, you'll have the advantage every man wishes he had. Let's get into it. Number 1. She pulls away just to see if you'll chase. When a woman suddenly pulls back, most men panic. They think something is wrong, that they said the wrong thing, or that she's lost interest. But in reality, distance is often one of the strongest hidden signs that she actually likes you. She creates space not to push you away, but to see how you'll respond. Will you chase desperately, or will you remain grounded? This test goes deeper than it looks. Women often want to know if your attraction is built on strength or on insecurity. If you crumble the moment she takes a step back, she sees you as fragile. But if you remain calm, composed, and patient, you show her that your world doesn't revolve around her approval. That's what makes her respect you more. Take Mark, a 42-year-old electrician from Texas. He started dating Jenna, a 39-year-old nurse. At first, things were smooth, but then Jenna began pulling back. She took longer to reply, cancelled plans last minute, and seemed distant. Mark's first instinct was to blow up her phone, asking if she was upset, but then he stopped himself. Instead, he gave her space, focused on his work, and stayed grounded. Within days, Jenna came back with more energy than before. Why? Because his restraint told her he wasn't desperate. He was strong enough to stand on his own. Stoic wisdom captures this perfectly. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When she pulls away, it's your chance to prove mastery over your emotions. Instead of being a prisoner of her attention, you become the man who chooses how to respond. That calmness is magnetic. If you chase recklessly, you become predictable and easy to control. She learns that all she has to do is step back, and you'll run forward begging for validation. But if you hold your ground, you flip the script. Suddenly, she's the one leaning forward, curious about why you're not reacting like every other man. That curiosity turns into attraction. The truth is, most men lose women not because they weren't attractive, but because they failed this silent test. They couldn't handle the silence. They mistook space for rejection instead of seeing it as a game of contrast. When she goes cold, it's not always punishment. Sometimes it's an invitation for you to stand firm. Think about it. The more you prove that you don't need to chase, the more she feels safe to come closer. She sees you as steady, reliable, and confident. Those are the traits women secretly crave, even if they act distant at times. Now, I want you to reflect on this. Have you ever noticed how a woman's pullback made you feel desperate, and how differently things turned out when you stayed calm? Drop it in the comments with, "I hold my ground." And here's why you'll want to keep watching. Because what comes next will reveal another hidden layer of attraction, one that goes beyond words and actions. Once you see it, you'll understand why her coldness is often the mask for something much deeper. Number 2. Her small talk hides the way she studies you. On the surface, her words may sound casual, even meaningless. She asks how your day went. She jokes about the weather. She comments on something trivial you posted. But behind that light conversation, she's scanning, analyzing, and taking mental notes. Women rarely reveal interest directly. Instead, they hide it beneath layers of small talk. That surface-level chatter isn't the point. It's the subtle way she's studying your responses, your energy, and your attention. Think about it. If she truly had no interest, she wouldn't bother with the effort. Small talk requires time, intention, and focus. She could easily stay silent or give a dry okay when you speak. But when she asks about details, your weekend, your routine, even your coffee preference, she's creating windows into who you are. She's not trying to fill silence, she's trying to learn you. This is where many men fail to notice. They dismiss her chatter as meaningless. Yet in reality, it's her way of gathering information without exposing herself to rejection. If she asks too directly, she risks vulnerability. But if she hides it behind casual words, she can protect herself while still satisfying her curiosity. What looks like small talk is a shield, one that guards her feelings while still pulling her closer to you. The Stoics taught us to look beneath appearances. Epictetus once said, "First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." If we apply that here, the meaning isn't in the words themselves, it's in the intention beneath them. Her words may be about nothing, but her intention is about everything. She's trying to understand your character. Are you consistent? Are you patient? Do you reveal arrogance when you think she's not paying attention? And here's where the game shifts. If you respond with frustration or impatience, you confirm her doubts. If you treat her questions with presence and calm, you demonstrate strength. Small talk is not her endgame, it's her way of probing. Women often watch not what you say, but how you say it. They notice your tone, your pauses, your choice of words, even your silence. All of it paints a picture of your emotional stability. Many men chase the dramatic gestures, thinking that's what impresses her. But the truth is, she's most fascinated by the subtleties. A calm response in a dull conversation often says more than a grand gesture in an exciting one. She's measuring whether you can keep steady when things aren't thrilling. In that steadiness, she finds safety, and in that safety, attraction grows. This is why Stoicism resonates so deeply here. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you apply this mindset to her small talk, you realize you don't need to perform or force meaning. You simply need to show consistency. She doesn't need a rehearsed speech. She needs to see that you remain grounded, even in trivial exchanges. So, next time she asks about something small, don't roll your eyes. Recognize the hidden test. Recognize the study happening beneath the surface. Treat those moments as opportunities to show her who you are without trying too hard. The man who stays calm and present, even in what seems like meaningless chatter, is the man who stands out. Because she doesn't just hear your words, she feels the character behind them. And if you understand that, you'll start to see how her small talk isn't small at all. It's the keyhole through which she peers into your essence. Handle it well, and she'll feel drawn to you in ways she can't admit out loud. Before we move forward, I want you to leave a mark here. Drop a comment below and claim this truth with 3 powerful words. I stay present. Let's keep going, because the next hidden sign will reveal something that most men miss entirely. And if you understand it, you'll never see her coldness the same way again. Number 3. Slow replies, but her mind replays your words. You send her a message, maybe something simple. Hours pass, sometimes a whole day, and finally she replies with just a few words. To many men, this feels like rejection. They assume she isn't interested, or that she's talking to someone else. But often, slow replies don't mean indifference. They mean the opposite. They mean she's replaying your words in her mind, over and over, trying to decode them. Let me give you a picture. Mark, a 42-year-old manager from Chicago, recently shared his frustration with me. He had been texting with a woman named Rachel, who's 39 and divorced. He'd send her something thoughtful, but she would take hours to respond. At first, he thought she was brushing him off. But later, when they met in person, Rachel admitted she kept rereading his messages before answering. She didn't want to sound too eager. She didn't want to mess it up. In reality, she was hooked. This is a truth most men overlook. When she delays her reply, it's not always because she's busy or uninterested. Many times, she's thinking carefully, weighing how her response will make her look. She's not just reading your words once, she's replaying them, wondering what you meant, what it says about you, and how she should position herself. Her silence isn't absence, it's her overthinking. Here's where your mindset as a Stoic matters. If you panic, double text, or demand quick answers, you show weakness. You reveal your need for constant validation. That pressure often kills attraction. But if you remain steady, patient, and grounded, you project confidence. The kind of confidence that makes her realize you don't need her immediate reply to feel secure in yourself. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." You cannot control when she replies. You cannot control how fast she processes your words. What you can control is how you interpret her silence. Is it rejection, or is it her mind obsessing over you? The answer often depends less on her and more on your ability to stay calm in uncertainty. Let's go back to Mark and Rachel. When Rachel delayed her replies, Mark resisted the urge to chase. He didn't flood her phone with questions. Instead, he gave her space, stayed consistent, and kept his cool. That calmness made her more comfortable, and eventually, she confessed her hesitation wasn't disinterest. It was attraction mixed with fear. His patience allowed her to feel safe enough to reveal the truth. This pattern plays out with countless women. Think about it. If she truly didn't care, why would she reply at all? Why would she spend energy crafting a response, even if it comes late? Her delay often signals investment. She wants her reply to matter. She wants to match your tone. Sometimes she even waits to avoid looking too available, because availability can feel like vulnerability. And here's the secret. The less you obsess about her timing, the more she feels drawn in. Your steadiness becomes the anchor against her storm of overthinking. While she replays your words in her head, you quietly show that your world doesn't collapse without her instant reply. That paradox, her overthinking contrasted with your calm, creates the very tension that deepens attraction. So next time her reply comes hours later, don't spiral. See it for what it is, a sign that your words matter enough to echo in her mind. Understand that silence is not the enemy, it's the space where her attraction quietly grows. Before we move on, I want you to pause and take ownership of this lesson. Drop a comment right now and write, "I stay calm." Let that be your reminder that patience isn't passive, it's powerful. And in the next part, you'll see another subtle sign that flips the script completely, something most men overlook, but changes everything once you notice it. Number 4. She drops other women's names to test your calm. Have you ever noticed how a woman will casually mention another woman's name in the middle of your conversation? Maybe she says something like, "Oh, Jessica told me that you're really funny." Or, "I saw Sarah comment on your post." On the surface, it seems innocent, but underneath there's strategy. She's testing you. She wants to see how you react when another woman's name enters the room. Here's the truth most men don't realize. When a woman brings up another woman, she's not always sharing random information. She's studying you. Will you tense up? Will you get defensive? Will you feel the need to explain yourself? Your reaction tells her volumes about your confidence, your security, and your emotional strength. This behavior is a test of your frame. She doesn't want to compete for you. She wants to feel that she has already won. But if you act rattled by another woman's name, you unintentionally show that your sense of value depends on external validation. You reveal insecurity. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who crumbles under pressure. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When she drops another woman's name, that's the what happens. It's neutral. But your reaction determines the outcome. If you smile, stay relaxed, and treat it as no big deal, you show her something powerful. You show that you cannot be shaken by subtle games. Now, why does she do this in the first place? It's rooted in psychology. Women are naturally attuned to status and competition. By inserting another woman into the narrative, even indirectly, she gauges where you stand. Are you the kind of man who panics at the thought of competition? Or are you the man who knows his value so deeply that he doesn't flinch? Here's the paradox. The more calmly you respond, the more she feels secure that you are the prize. Because if other women exist in your orbit, and you don't even blink, it reinforces your worth. It tells her you are not desperate for approval, that your world doesn't revolve around clinging to her validation. That quiet confidence draws her closer, because it proves you operate from abundance, not scarcity. Imagine it like this. She's building a frame around you. With each subtle test, she's asking, can I trust this man's strength? Can I relax into his presence? When you fail the test, she feels she must stay on guard. But when you pass it, when you show calm, humor, or even playful indifference, she feels safe to let down her walls. Think about how often men sabotage themselves here. They over-explain, they demand reassurance, they accuse her of trying to make them jealous. All of those reactions confirm insecurity. But when you remain steady, you flip the script. Instead of her holding power, you show that the test doesn't even register as a threat. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Another woman's name being mentioned is an outside event. It doesn't define you. What defines you is the strength to hold your ground, to smile, to remain calm. And when she sees that, it creates a deep attraction, because you're no longer just a man reacting, you're a man leading. So the next time she mentions Jessica, Sarah, or whoever it may be, don't stiffen up. Lean back into your calm. Maybe even playfully acknowledge it, then move the conversation forward. Show her that you're unshakable, because in that moment, her respect for you quietly doubles. Before we move on, I want you to anchor this truth in yourself. Drop a comment right now and write, "I stay unshaken." Let that be your reminder that calmness under pressure is one of the most attractive traits you can ever show. And coming up, we'll dive into another hidden sign women use when they secretly like you, one that might surprise you even more. Number 5. No touch, yet she lingers close enough to feel you. One of the most fascinating signals a woman gives when she secretly likes you is her proximity. She may not touch you directly, no hand on your arm, no obvious embrace, but she places herself just close enough that your presence brushes against her senses. It's subtle, almost invisible if you're not paying attention, but it's one of the strongest signs she's drawn to you. Think about it. If a woman had no interest, she would naturally create distance. She'd stand a few steps away, lean her body away, or keep her energy closed off. But when she lingers nearby, just within your personal space, it's intentional. She wants to feel your presence without having to admit it openly. Let's take a real example. Mark, a 42-year-old financial advisor in Denver, noticed this dynamic with a woman at his gym named Rachel, 39. She never made bold moves, never flirted outright. But every time they ended up near the water fountain, She would stand just inches from him, lingering even when she didn't need to. She never touched him, but the air between them buzzed with unspoken attraction. At first, he thought it was coincidence. Over time, he realized it was her way of signaling interest while protecting herself from vulnerability. Here's what's happening on a psychological level. Physical closeness is one of the oldest human cues of attraction. Our nervous systems are wired to notice when someone stays in our orbit. By lingering near you, she's satisfying her desire to feel you without crossing a line that could expose her feelings. It's a safe middle ground, close enough to spark tension, distant enough to protect her pride. For men who miss this signal, the risk is twofold. On one hand, you might overlook an opportunity to build connection. On the other, if you misinterpret it and pounce too aggressively, you break the silent dance and kill the mystery. The secret lies in balance, recognizing her proximity as an invitation to slow down, to let the energy build. Women often use proximity because it mirrors the emotional dynamic they crave. She doesn't want to be grabbed at the first chance. She wants to feel that pull, the magnetic tension that comes from two people existing in the same space without rushing. That unspoken electricity is what makes attraction intoxicating. Remember, women feel arousal differently than men. For men, visual cues dominate. For women, it's often about subtle energy. Being close without touching heightens the anticipation. It creates a spark that physical contact can later ignite into something powerful. Let's bring this closer to home. Imagine you're at a dinner party. A woman takes the seat next to you, even though there are plenty of empty chairs across the table. Throughout the night, she leans in to speak softly, her shoulder almost grazing yours, her perfume brushing your senses. She's not openly declaring interest, but her body is telling you what her words won't say. She feels something, and she wants you to notice. The Stoics often spoke about the power of presence. Seneca once wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." For you, this is a reminder not to overthink her closeness. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't panic that you'll misread it. Simply stay present. Enjoy the moment. Let the silence do some of the talking. If you can resist the urge to break the tension too soon, you give her exactly what she craves: space to lean closer, to take the next step herself. That restraint is what separates a grounded man from one who's desperate. So the next time you notice a woman hovering just a little too close, pay attention. It's not an accident. It's her way of saying, "I want to feel you near me, but I'm not ready to touch." Recognize the beauty of that moment and let her curiosity pull her deeper into your presence. Now, before we move forward, I want you to ground this lesson in your mind. Drop a comment right now and write, "I sense the signals." That's how you confirm to yourself and to me that you're starting to see beyond the obvious. And stick with me, because the next hidden sign will reveal an even deeper layer of her attraction, one most men completely miss. Number 6. Her poker face cracks in tiny mirrored gestures. A woman may try her hardest to keep a cool exterior, acting as if you don't affect her at all. But the body has a way of betraying what the heart wants to hide. This is where micro-expressions and mirrored gestures reveal the truth. She might keep a straight face, but her body will copy yours without her even realizing it. Mirroring is one of the clearest subconscious signs of attraction. When you lean back, she leans back. When you cross your legs, she does the same. Even when she takes a sip of her drink right after you, it's not coincidence. It's her nervous system aligning with yours. Her poker face may say, "I'm calm, I'm in control," but her gestures whisper the opposite. The fascinating part is that she often doesn't know she's doing it. Human beings are wired to synchronize with those they feel connected to. In psychology, it's called the chameleon effect. In relationships, it's a silent signal that she's tuned into you. It's her body saying, "I feel safe in your rhythm, so I'll move with you." The Stoics taught us to pay attention to what is within our control and what is not. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening isn't just with the ears, it's with the eyes. If you watch closely, you'll notice these cracks in her composure. They are whispers of her desire, more honest than any word she might say. Think about the subtle power in this. She's trying to hide, but her body is betraying her. That's the paradox of attraction. It refuses to stay hidden. The more she suppresses it, the more it leaks out in tiny gestures. Her smile might flash for half a second when you look at her. Her feet might point toward you even if her face looks away. Her breathing may quicken to match yours when the conversation gets intense. Why does this matter for you as a man? Because most men miss it. They're looking for loud, obvious signs, a laugh, a touch, an open confession. But women often reveal themselves in whispers, not shouts. If you can learn to notice these micro-signals, you gain an edge. You see her attraction before she's ready to admit it, which gives you time to move with calmness rather than desperation. Now, here's the key. Don't call her out on it. If you say, "Hey, you just copied me," she'll snap back into defense mode. The magic of these mirrored gestures is that they're unconscious. The more you quietly notice them, the more she'll lean into them. Let her body do the talking while you maintain your composure. This is where restraint becomes attractive. By staying still, by holding your ground and letting her sink with you, you create a subtle but powerful dominance. You don't chase her signals, you allow them. And in doing so, you embody the calm, steady presence that women secretly crave. When she cracks her poker face, even in the smallest ways, it's your moment to understand the truth. Attraction isn't about the words spoken, it's about the rhythm shared. Her unconscious mirroring is proof that she feels something strong enough to leak past her defenses. Attraction hides in plain sight, but only the grounded man can see it. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When her thoughts are colored by you, her movements will echo yours, and that's when you know the mask is slipping. So here's your action step. Next time you're with a woman who seems cold, don't just listen to her words. Watch her body. Notice the gestures, the small shifts, the way she unconsciously mirrors you. That's where the truth lies. Now, to lock this in, drop a comment and write, "I see beneath." That's your declaration that you're no longer blind to what's really happening. And stay with me, because the next sign is even more dangerous. It reveals how she tests your balance by playing with your emotions. Number 7. Cold in public, but her eyes betray her secret fire. On the surface, she acts like nothing touches her. She's cool, collected, maybe even distant. In public, she keeps her composure, almost as if she's guarding a secret that no one can access. But here's what most men miss. The eyes never lie. Even when she plays cold, her gaze will betray her. Think about it. A woman might keep her body language neutral, her words polite, her tone indifferent, but the moment you catch her staring longer than she should, the mask begins to crack. Attraction slips through her eyes, because vision is one of the deepest ways humans connect. You can fake a smile, you can fake words, but it's almost impossible to fake the way you look at someone who stirs something inside you. Take Mark, a 42-year-old divorced father who recently started dating again. He told me about a co-worker, Rachel, who always acted distant during meetings. She kept her answers short, never flirted, and maintained her professional distance. But Mark noticed something strange. Every time he spoke, her eyes lingered just a moment too long. And whenever someone else joined the conversation, she would quickly shift her gaze away. On the outside, Rachel was cold, but her eyes betrayed the truth. She was deeply curious about him, maybe even drawn to him. This is the paradox of female attraction. Women often hide their interest, especially in public. They don't want to appear obvious or desperate, but their gaze reveals the fire underneath. It's not about whether she looks at you once, it's about how she looks. Does she hold eye contact a little too long? Does she quickly glance away when caught, almost embarrassed? Does she look at you during moments when everyone else is distracted? These small signals are far louder than words. Here's what you need to understand. As a man, don't be fooled by her coldness. Many women test men by creating emotional distance in social situations just to see if he can hold his ground. If you react with insecurity, if you chase, question, or push, you fail the test. But if you stay calm, composed, and confident, her eyes will keep giving her away. That's the secret dance she plays. When you catch her gaze, the best move isn't to pounce, it's to meet it with quiet strength. A steady look, a small smile, then shift your attention back to what you were doing. This not only shows control, it makes her wonder what's going on in your mind. That mystery fuels the attraction even more. Mark did exactly this with Rachel. Instead of calling out her stares, he remained grounded. Over time, Rachel's glances grew bolder, and eventually, she started initiating small conversations outside of work. Her cold exterior faded, but it was the eyes that revealed the truth from the very beginning. This lesson matters because attraction is often subtle, especially with women who value discretion. If you only look at her surface behavior, you'll assume she's not interested. But if you learn to read her eyes, you'll uncover the signals most men miss. So next time a woman acts cold in public, pay attention to her gaze. That's where her secret fire burns. Now, I want you to write this in the comments. I see the fire. That's your reminder that you'll no longer be blind to the signals hidden in plain sight. And stay with me, because the next sign digs even deeper. It shows how her actions confuse you on purpose, blurring the line between rejection and attraction. You won't want to miss this. Number 8. She pretends not to care until you withdraw. One of the most confusing signs you'll face is this. She acts like you don't matter, but the moment you step back, suddenly everything changes. Her silence turns into subtle attempts to draw your attention again. She might not admit it, but your absence creates a shift inside her that she can't ignore. This isn't random. It's part of a psychological dynamic rooted in how people, especially women, respond to uncertainty. When you're fully present, always available, she feels safe but not stirred. When you withdraw, even slightly, her mind wakes up to the possibility of losing something valuable. That's when her true feelings leak through. The Stoics had a perspective that fits perfectly here. Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In relationships, her reaction to your absence tells you more than her words during your presence. If she genuinely doesn't care, she'll remain indifferent whether you're there or not. But if she feels the pull of attraction, your withdrawal exposes the tension she's been hiding. Think about the small ways this shows up. Maybe she starts texting you again after days of silence. Maybe she suddenly brings up memories or inside jokes to reel you back in. Or she might act frustrated, questioning why you've been quiet. These are all signs that her "I don't care" act was just that, an act. Because when someone is truly indifferent, your silence means nothing. When someone is secretly invested, your silence becomes unbearable. The mistake many men make is chasing harder when she plays cold. That only feeds her ego and proves you're willing to over-invest. But the man who knows his worth does something different. He doesn't punish her, but he doesn't beg either. He steps back with calm strength, allowing her to reveal whether her interest is real or just a performance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you master restraint, you stop reacting to her tests and start observing her truth. This self-control is magnetic because it shows you're not desperate for validation. You're a man anchored in his own value, and that makes her feel the weight of losing you. So when she pretends not to care, don't rush to prove yourself. Withdraw with confidence, not as a game, but as a natural extension of your self-respect. If she moves closer, you'll know her coldness was only a mask. If she doesn't, you'll know her absence of care was real, and you're free to move on with clarity. Now, I want you to drop this in the comments. I hold the power. That's your reminder that you never need to chase someone who's pretending. And make sure you keep watching, because the next sign reveals a deeper contradiction why she might treat you one way in public, but her private signals tell a completely different story. Number 9. She downplays you, then flaunts your best qualities. Here's a strange but powerful signal. Sometimes she'll act like you're nothing special to your face, but when she's around others, suddenly she can't stop bragging about you. It feels contradictory, but this pattern actually reveals a lot about her hidden feelings. Take Josh, a 28-year-old software engineer from Austin. When he was dating Emily, 26, he often felt confused. During their one-on-one moments, Emily would tease him, saying things like, "You're such a nerd," whenever he got excited about coding or tech projects. But then, when they were out with her friends, Emily would proudly say, "Josh is brilliant, he just solved a problem at work that no one else could figure out." To Josh, it felt like whiplash. One moment, she was downplaying him. The next, she was showing him off like a prize. But here's the truth. This push-pull is one of the hidden ways women express interest. She minimizes your qualities in private because she doesn't want to look like she's falling too hard. But in public, her pride slips out. She can't help but advertise what she secretly admires about you. This is where most men get it wrong. They take the downplaying personally. They think, "She doesn't respect me, she doesn't see my value." But in reality, her private teasing and public praise are two sides of the same coin. Both are driven by the fact that she notices you, and she wants others to notice you too. Here's the key. Don't let her mixed signals shake your confidence. When she downplays you, stay calm and grounded.